Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another edition of E-Heroes for those keeping count. This is episode 368, and you guys know I'm Mr. Sarcastic, and I don't give a shit about most people's feelings. I know. So, my next guest hasn't been on the show for 5 years, and we're going to talk about the courage to be disliked.
Mm,
As you know, my whole Rob versus series was that anti-magnet to get rid of all the people that were just tire kickers. I don't want those. And so bring back Heather Havenwood, and yeah, we're going to teach you the courage to be disliked.
you're welcome.
It's
Very good at that. You're very good at being the
I
asshole. But
I
it's part of like your brand,
mhm.
you know? I admire that. I can be it. I can be the B bitch, but I haven't done that positioning. I'm not doing the positioning of the nice girl by any stretch of the imagination, but I haven't been willing to be disliked. And you've done a good job of that.
One person had said, Rob, why do you have to be so mean? I'm like, I'm not really mean.
You're
Um,
not mean, you're
just
just an asshole.
Yeah, that's the difference. And what I do is I do it so that I don't waste my time on people that are never going to be a client. And I know that's against a lot of the marketing rules. You're supposed to
Fuck the
attract
marketing rule.
people. I don't want
Yeah.
that many people as clients. I honestly don't.
Ah,
No.
I feel
So
you.
the ones that resonate with you
Yeah.
are going to pay you the big bucks. They're,
Yeah.
they're going to make your life so much easier. The ones that are triggered by everything you say, they're going to give you pushback, they're going to argue, and they're going to delay payment. And then you're like, this wasn't worth it.
Right. Oh, I know. Yeah. I've had that recently. Or they just kind of drag along. I had a situation recently that was interesting. I'll just share it because it's interesting. So I was referred by someone locally for a very big contract. And because there's like a total redo or new start of a company, it was exciting. So I went down the rabbit hole and I was talking to these people and talking to these people. Long story short, this other business. It was just kind of messy. But anyway, my point is I realized that, and I gave them proposals, and they're like, yes, 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 and then like last minute, the main guy's like, oh yeah, we have to go with this other guy. Like it was totally random, and I'm like, wait, what? And then I realized there was something unbeing not being said. You know what I mean? And I finally figured out what it was not being said. I'm not a Scientologist, nor have I said I was going to be. And he's a Scientologist, and his CEO is a Scientologist, and the guy they hired is a Scientologist. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not a Scientologist. And he's like, well, you don't have to be Scientologist. Like, oh, yes, I do. Like, you just say it, like, say that, and we would have wasted 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And so then, what happened is like then we went down this rabbit hole. He's like, well, I want to go in business with you on this one, and he made it. He made so. Here's my point of this: is like listen to behaviors, not what people say,
Mhm.
right? And so when we had dinner, business dinner, he said, I would never date a woman if she's not a Scientologist. I'm very adamant about that. He's a hardcore Scientologist. And I said, got it. And he's like, but I want to do business with you. And I'm thinking, wow, so you won't sleep with a woman who's not, you won't have a relationship with someone who's not Scientologist, but you'll be in business and share money. Bullshit. You know what I mean? And that's when I was like, and I literally sent him a message the next day and said, I'm pulling myself out. If you want to hire me, here's my fees. And it was just like, $350 an hour. And he's like, what? What? And I'm like, I'm not going to be a Scientologist. You want to hire me to consult you on marketing? Good. But like, I was willing to be disliked. Now, he went the other way. Shocker. I'm not shocked by that. He, left me alone. But it's like, it's almost as if he was just, what I call stringing me along. And I think one of the things I'm learning to do, there's literally a book called The Courage to Be Disliked.
Mhm.
And I'm in the middle of reading it. And I really am finding it fascinating because I've realized that I've been not been willing to be disliked. That's the truth. And I've been in the marketing world for a long time. And there's been a part of me, this is me outing myself, is I really, 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 really wanted to be liked in that world. I really wanted to be pulled up on the stages. I really did all these things. I call it the cartwheel move. I've been cartwheeling and paying the right people and being in their world and being really complimentary and going out of my way and doing testimonials. And I'm done. Like, I'm done. And I've removed myself from all of them. I no longer pay any of them. And I recently, with something, with the group, I stopped paying. I was like, I'm out. I'm not going to pay you anymore because you're not teaching anything I don't know, and you're just circle jerking everybody. And the response of that not only was from him, and of course the little people underneath, and in the groups, is all of a sudden I lost all these people as friends. And I was like, let me get this straight. So I have to pay this guy's bank account for you and I to be friends. That's complete horseshit.
Mhm.
And that is the world we're in right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm done. And so I have lost a ton of friends, or not friends. They're like, oh, well, I don't. I'm like, okay, I want to make sure you understand this. You want me to line this other dude's bank account, not your bank account, someone other dude's bank account, so that you and I could like have a conversation. That's utterly insane.
Mhm.
But people are so afraid to leave the what I call the nest, right? It's like that old parable about the fleas in the jar, and the people are so afraid to leave the jar
Mhm.
that when one goes out, which was me, I'm like, fuck this, I'm out. They're like, no, don't buy. Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, leave the prison,
Mhm.
because you're not making, these people aren't making money,
Mhm.
right? They're giving this guy money, and he's making millions of dollars off feeding of sheep. And so what's interesting to me is like I'm so through with that. And that's happening in a macrocosm too. It's happening in a microcosm to macrocosm. So as you start to see what the behavior of people is, don't watch what people say.
Mhm.
Follow the behavior. Behavior never lies. And
Mhm.
I had to look at my behavior. What's my behavior? My behavior is I've been so attached to being liked, so attached to being fear of missing out and being outcast, that I have like really detrimental to myself.
Mhm.
And I'm just over it. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm moving into the something that I'm very, very, it's hard to even talk about, but it's like it's who I am. I'm very spiritual. Um, what does that mean? So I'm very spiritual. I am a Christian, but I'm very more spiritual. I mean, I have an ankh. Uh, I went to Egypt. I channel guides. I connect to my guides. I have conversations. I do channel writing. I do automatic channeling writing. I do all kinds of things I've never talk about.
Mhm.
And I'm just over that. And I never talked about it because it wasn't in the box of the marketing world. And I've had to sit back, Rob, and I've been in this marketing world, whatever that means, for 2 decades. And I'm like, God, I've wasted 2 decades of my life because, like, at least in a company, you can go, look what I've done in 2 decades. And with me, I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I've created. So it's really interesting to see where my path is going. So I'm building out a new show called Uncage Your Soul. And the intention of the show, I just have an intention, is I want to be interviewing people, more women than men, personally.
Mhm.
That's just where I feel called, to anything in the world of like galactic, ET, alien, spiritual beings, near death experiences, which I had two between 2020 and 2023. I had two near death experiences. So really bringing this whole other world to the forefront. That's not a marketing thing. I don't even know how I'm going to monetize it yet. I'm more moving into a media company than I'm a marketing company or a coaching company. I do
And
not
and
want
and and
and I do not want to be a coach. I don't
right.
want to be a mentor. I don't want to be a coach. I'm a guide. right? I'll be a guide or hold space. So if you come from, and you know this, 2 decades of like position yourself and authority and all this crap and like the through line and all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't even want to be a coach. If so, I don't want to coach anyone. I don't want to mentor someone. I'll be a guide and I'll share and be a media and empower other people. But I'm really in this weird space of like, who am I to say to be anyone's coach at this point when I really think that everything we thought there was truth is just flipped? It's all wrong at this point. Wrong is not the right word. It's just flipped. It's
Mhm.
like what we thought the world was is flipped. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, I
Well,
don't even know if that makes
and I
sense.
think that, and our mentor, Joe Sugarman, I think he'd be looking down on you and being pleased because of your evolution.
Okay.
Yes, we both came from the marketing world, and I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years, and I've seen a lot of shit go down in the marketing world, and a lot of people go to jail, because they're overselling, they're overpromising, and they're delivering shit. Joe was just one of those guys who said, "Yes, just tell a story. Just tell
Yeah.
a better story."
Just tell a better story.
And
He was good at that.
you know,
He's a good guy.
he was a good guy, and he never tried to sell you on something that you didn't need or want.
No.
And so, I know he's looking down on you saying, he's proud because of you've transitioned yourself over the last few years into something completely different. You're like a phoenix rising from the dust,
Oh, you're
and
gonna make me
and
cry.
you're starting all over, and it's
I am
good to
starting
see.
over. That's one thing I have to say, like, I've been putting offers out to my list and getting 0 response, and my marketing brain is like, "Well, what do people want?" And reverse engineer, and at the same time, when I'm, like, really in my spiritual, it's like, "No, the people on your list are just not in alignment with where you at." Like, they're kind of like old you're like it's like going back to high school, like, "Yo," and they're like, "Huh?" So it's not them, and my job is no longer to morph into what they need. It's more like, this is my new stance, and all these people may just drop off.
Right.
And that's scary to me as someone who I would think after 20 years, I would have this big list and I put an offer out and people buy. And like, what the hell? Even on my Instagram or my TikTok, it almost feels like I'm talking to an echo chamber because the people who are quote unquote were following whatever, it's like they're like, who's this? And I get it. It's just scary because
Well,
yeah, as
I
the marketer in me, I'm just like, where's the likes and like the feedback, and am I doing this right, and is this landing for people? And it's coming from a different place. And so that courage to be disliked is that kind of like, yeah, courage to send your entire list something and they're like, what's that? You know what I mean? And like, okay, you're just not my people. And I'm now having to go out and going, okay, let's go find my people. And I'm at ground zero. And it may not look like that when you go online, 30,000 on LinkedIn, and my numbers at 47,000 on TikTok. Not that that's great, but whatever. It's like, yeah, but I don't know if they're my new people. I
right.
think it's ground zero. I think it's really ground zero right now. And that, as someone who just turned 50,
Okay.
it's scary, but I'm reminded, thank God, by there's a video I saw, and I need to go deeper. Martha Stewart, that bitch, love her to death, met her. She's a ice queen, man. She's awesome. Changed my life when I met her. She didn't start she didn't start. She got out of jail. She calls Yale, by the way. She got out of Yale when she was 55. She didn't start. She started her media company then from nothing.
Hmm.
From nothing, and I'm like, okay, Vera Wang didn't start until after 50. And as a female, it's like, oh, I'm not alone. You know what I mean? Because I got to be honest with you, there's something else that I've been weirdly experiencing in the marketing world is because I'm not the hot, sexy girl anymore or the hottie, like all of a sudden, most of my invitations for these events or like come are like gone. They're going to smoking hot 25-year-olds because in the marketing world, you may not want to hear this, but it's true. Look, behavior never lies. You always look at the marketing world, and it's always kind of the main male group, and then they'll what I call the throw in the female to say they have a female, and
Mm.
they'll throw in the smoking hot 25-year-old, and good for her. Like, congrats, right? But it's like they don't want to bring me in. They're like, oh, you're like outdated or something, and so one of the things I've had to lean into, that's not me just being mean. That's just like behavior never lies. It's like, oh, okay, got it. Thank you for the information. But I'm having to really go into that Phoenix by myself.
Mhm.
Like, what do I really want to do? What do I really want to create? It's a little bit like Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart was outcasted by media, CBS and ABC and all the ones, right? Literally shunned her. All her sponsors shunned her. She's like, all right, by myself over here. I'll make a billion without ya. Like that's for me, she's like that person for me where I'm like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. I mean, she's Martha and I'm no Martha, but like I can feel like I can understand her. That's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think everyone that's listening needs to understand that don't copy other people. Yeah, I mean, Martha Stewart, Joe Sugarman, we're throwing out some names, but here Heather is doing things the way she wants to do. You know, creating
Trusting
creating something that maybe nobody wants, right now,
right now.
but the more they see her, the more that they hear from her, they're going to say, "Wow, yeah, maybe I do need that." And
Yeah,
and that's why creating videos every single day, whether just whatever you want to talk about, just put it out on video. And yes, you're going to get people that you
I'm
know,
doing some of that. I think I paid King Jordan $100 for him to do. We're doing like a 90-day challenge. And he even says like the challenge is $100.
yeah,
He's not doing it really for the money. And I'm like, I'm in
yeah.
because like
Well,
it's
you have to,
more about
you
my
have
own
to,
challenge,
you have to challenge yourself to create posts, to do videos. But here's what I've discovered is that I'll put videos out on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I'll get the greatest compliments. TikTok, insults. YouTube, I get a couple of people that, hey, cut your hair, do this. I'm like,
fuck
and then
off.
you go and look at their profiles, and these people aren't doing anything. No videos, no nothing. They're just yelling from the bleachers. And so you got to think about that. They're not my client. They'll never be my client. Don't listen to the naysayers. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Something that I watched the Alex Hormozy 9-hour, 3-day, $150 million launch. Something he said, I know it was insane. I chose to do it. Okay, it's my deal. One thing he said that I don't think people caught. I was listening for 9 hours, so I got. But he did say this, and I thought, that's an interesting message for me. He said, "Now you guys are seeing this. This is massive, but I think they spent. I could be wrong on the number. It was like 4 million in ads. Yeah, 35,000 pieces of content. I
Yeah.
want you to get that. Some people have a hard time doing one a day, 365. 35,000 pieces of content went out for this event. I was like, what? Like, that's a bar?
Mhm.
But he said, here's the thing, it's not about getting the perfect content. Marketers, like, it's not about that. It's just, it's that. And
Mhm.
that's given me, again, that courage to be disliked. The courage to be disliked. And he actually said something again. I resonated with. He said, some of people meet me. He said, some people come here, they come to our events and they meet me. And the first thing they say to me is, wow, you're so nice. He said, well, you're probably seeing my content out there. And what you're probably feeling energetically is like, I hate doing content. I hate it. I can't stand it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I have to do it. And so you're feeling that like, in me, but I still do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I do it because like it's part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's the game. And that's really helped me. And we are talking a week after Charlie Kirk died,
Mm-hmm.
or was murdered. Let's put it to close since he was murdered. Obviously, I'm not going to go into the political side, but I will give. There's so much there on Charlie that I think is interesting. You know, he was only 13 years in from his media company, and worth millions now. And the thing he did was he was a prolific content creator,
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous, like off the chain. And like him or not, doesn't matter. It's about consumption. Disney is, I mean, how many movies out there of Disney?
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. It's massive content. And so the game is no longer about marketing, is it? It's about the proliferation of the content for the consumption.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not really gotten that until recently. I didn't realize that it's not about the campaign, it's about the consumption. And am I willing to put myself out there to be consumed? Let's look at Charlie Kirk. Obviously, there are people that loved him, but obviously, people that hated him.
Mm-hmm.
He's killed for it. Let's be clear. Okay. That's an extreme. He put himself out there at the level, this massive level that he's amazing. He's a martyr. I agree with a lot of what he said. But my point is, it's that he was willing to be disliked. The
Mm-hmm.
courage of that man is insane. The courage of him to be willing to be disliked is admirable
Mm-hmm.
beyond me.
Well, and the thing is that it's still people are still talking about him, good or bad. And the people that are talking about him bad, it's like, well, where'd you get this information from?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, you're way left wing, and then they just go off their rant. But here's the thing: is that every content that we put out there should tell a story of some sort. Should
Yes.
get people to think. Should get people
Yeah.
to want to tell other people about you. And I'm putting on this event at Disney in January, and what I've discovered is that maybe people can't afford it just now. I get it. Times are a little tough for some people, but I have people sharing that those ads out to other people, and I'm like, wow. And they're saying, Rob is a prolific marketer, and I'm like, I've never been called that before. You know, or he's a genuine guy. Okay, I've never been called that before. Go back to
I don't
asshole.
bullshit.
But it's the
I'm
perceived
kidding.
value that people are getting from you. You could be the meanest guy,
Yeah.
right? You could have this attitude about you, and I come on board as this sarcastic guy, but those people who resonate with me,
Yeah.
they think I'm the cat's pajamas.
Well, what I think that's interesting that we're all on social media, but the percentage of the people that are actually creating value content versus entertainment content. There's entertainment content. There's a guy I know, he does really good entertainment. He's a midget. He's a great guy. His name is Shane. He's on TikTok. He's got like 500,000 followers. But I looked at all this content and like it's entertainment content. And he's great, but it's entertainment content. But the percentage of people that are creating what I call value content, I'll put Charlie in that, I'll put you in that. Like that's what I call value content. Makes you think, has a particular opinion about it, opinion about something. Like that's a 1%.
Mhm,
It's 1%. If that, it probably might be less than that. It's a 1% game of the people that are actually creating content. Another one is Joel Osteen. I am a fan of Joel Osteen. I listen to him. He is another person creates a lot of content. I have studied his business model. I believe in him. I believe in his business model. I believe, I ask people all the time, why is it that Joel Osteen's church is the number one church in the country year after year after year, 10 years straight, more, $250 million just on the church side. And they are number one. And they're not like, because every year, like the churches come out with like the numbers. And he's not like number one like that. It's like that. The
Mhm.
gap is massive between one and two. And then everyone else is like under the agape, things like that. And I always ask people, what do you think the number one reason is that he's that big? And everyone's like, oh, it's great teeth. He tells stories well. He didn't go to seminary. He had no education in marketing. He had no education in storytelling. He had none. He still didn't go to. He's a pastor. He's never been to seminary. So no, the reason why he was able to be so successful, he's been 17 years behind the scenes of his father's church in the production side. And he spent many years working for a radio company in Houston. So he understood the power of distribution. So when he got the church, his father passed away and he stepped up and like all that, he learned the radio wheel. He knew the radio wheel. And the radio wheel, if you look at 1 hour of radio,
Mhm.
each half hour has 22 minutes segments of content in between commercials. So he started to create his sermons content piece, one a week, 52 weeks a year on Sunday. Okay. One a week. And he did 22 minutes of content exactly. And he made it evergreen. And then he started taking that and selling that content, licensing that content. Anybody can do this all over the world, right? In what they call it's called remnant space, which is basically like what they call shit space. He wasn't trying to go up to 7 p.m. He'd do the 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 12, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Wherever anyone in the world, all over the world. And then he started doing that. And that started to grow and grow and grow and grow. Now, eventually, then Sirius XM came to him and said, do you want a channel? And
Mhm.
he's like, sure. And a channel, you and I could buy a channel. It's $250,000. You and I could buy a channel right now called the Rob and Heather channel. And we now have 365, 24/7. It's our freaking channel. We can market what we want, who we want. We can create the spots. We can take all the spots. It doesn't matter. And anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. And so he did that, and now it's like 365, 7 days a week, right? Now here's what's beautiful. If you do the math, you only need 2 years. That's 52 times two, right? 52 weeks. So it's one piece of content a week times two. So 2 years of content to fill a 24/7, 765, 365 channel,
Mhm.
you know? And if you look at the power of that, and that's what Alex Formosa talked about, it's the content now is about distribution. It's a distribution channel. It's not actually about getting people to do anything. It's about distribution. It's not an ad campaign. It's a distribution channel. And when you start to see it that way, is you have product and distribution, right? So that's why Sam Evans, who owns School, SKOL, went to, they teamed up, they own the business now, whatever. But he went to Hormozy and he's like, I had this great product, but I hate content, never done content. I've got zero distribution. Okay. He sold his business or he sold his list. He's got I have zero distribution, but I got a great product. He's like, well, I have distribution. Let's partner. Boom. Right. So that's the power of understanding the new world we're in. That's the new world we're in.
Yeah,
And one more thing I'll say. This is let me say what's one more thing. This is eye-opening for me. For some reason, I just now got this. You may have
Mhm.
gotten it before, but I'm just now getting it. And the reason why, and this comes down to my own programming and what I call a little bit of female stuff going on, is I was in the marketing world for so long, and I felt as if that the stages were gatekept. Like, oh, well, you're not in that mastermind, or yo, you're not in that group, and we'll only pull up the people we want to be pulled up. Okay. And a lot of that, I have women around my own issues around that, my view. I'm not saying it's right, but whatever. What I finally got is those stages are bullshit.
Mhm.
They're gone. They don't mean anything. No one needs permission anymore to just go straight to the people and create 35,000 pieces of content. I don't need that permission. And that's what I had to get is I no longer need the permission to be on this stage or that person's stage. I no longer need that permission. That's been profound for me. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at.
Well,
That's why I call it
going back
uncaged.
to, I mean, you've mentioned lists a few times, and I always was of the belief, well, not belief, but I was always told, your wealth is in
It's in the
your net
list.
worth is in your list, and I thought, but sometimes that's bullshit. Sometimes you can have the biggest list in the world, and it doesn't mean nothing if those people don't resonate with you.
That's what's happening right now. I have been sending my list offers for an entire month and getting no response. That's not it's not no response. A lot of clicks, no buys. Except I got this random woman. I'm not kidding. She called me like 1 in the morning and left this long message. I do not know who this woman is. I do not know how she got my phone number. I'm trying to figure that out. But she left me this long message about the spiritual. I finally said this what I call my true offer out. It was about Sovereign CEO Academy, what I call the mystery school for women entrepreneurs. And it was this literally, I swear to God, it was like 10-minute voicemail. Don't know who this woman is. And she had a view about this. She didn't like it. It was a very like, no, I don't like this. And I'm going to tell you I don't like this. And I thought to myself, oh, I hit a chord. Oh, I got a chord. Like,
Oh,
oh, there's a
and
chord.
take that recording, transcribe it, and then use it in your marketing piece that answers all these questions. So if you create a 6-page sales letter,
Huh.
within that piece, go through and answer all the, problems that she, rose in this recording. And now people are reading through this going, wow, okay, she's already answered that. She's answered that. She's answered
Oh,
that.
interesting.
And
That's
and now
great.
and now you're using her fire to fuel your new program.
Huh. Yeah, because she had some interesting perspectives. She's a woman. She's older. She's kept saying she's 80. That not that that matters, but it was a very particular view, right? And it was very like, where is she getting this shit? But you know what? You're right. She's she's feeling that other people are. But then I've
Mhm.
had some other people respond to me and go, "Oh, I love that. When I can, I'll join it." So yeah, I love that. But I think that's what's happening. It's like there's a new way of life emerging, and my old way of doing business has been find a pain, solve the pain, um, find out what people want to fill the void.
Mhm.
Okay, that's been
Well, that's typical marketing, speak, and
yet
sometimes,
I'm blowing that shit out of the water.
yeah,
I'm more like,
sometimes
what do
it's
I
just
want
like
to teach?
piss people off, piss them off some more, agitate them, and then they come back on, "Hey, why aren't you pissing me off anymore?" "Oh, okay, well, for more
I'm now
money, yeah."
totally going this other way of like, I want to, here's what I want to talk about. Here's what I'm interested in. Here's
Mhm.
what I want to have a conversation about. So like I know there's a market for it. So
Right.
Gaia and Mind Valley are huge. So mine's called Uncage You, so that's my new domain. And I want to really want to create the largest like female centric kind of conscious awareness business where it's about astrology and gene keys and human design and near-death experiences and spirituality and how spirituality is in alignment when we're a lot. So my three pillars I've come up with because it's like what I'm going through
Mhm.
is awaken. When you're awakened, then you're aligned and then you ascend. And I say that in business is that when I have not been aligned with any of my offers until recently. I've just been doing the old stuff and it's not worked.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm so awakened to like who I am now. I have to align with who I am and allow that entire list probably to go so that I can actually ascend and help people and help myself. That's the truth. So now I want to talk about, all these crazy things. And so I looked at Gaia and I looked at Mind Valley, and there's some other things. And what I find fascinating, this is just my viewpoint. This is not a diss or anything. What I find interesting is that they are both run by men, and then their their companies are run by men, but their target market is women.
Mhm.
And that just irritates the shit out of me personally. And I'm like, I'm done with that. I want to be the woman who is helping empower more women for women. I don't know why that's so crazy, but like that's what I want. And so that's who I want to be. I want to go find the women that are probably amazing healers. They are amazing, wise women. They may not be 25, they may be in their 50s or 60s or 70s. And I want to bring them to the forefront. I want to bring them and empower them, not what other people tell me I should do. Oh, this 25-year-old, she knows how to manifest shit. Whatever. You know what I mean? Oh, look at you, now to manifest something. You're 25. How about let's go find a woman who's like 60 and like the healings she's done. Why are we not promoting that? Oh, well, she's not as pretty. Fuck that shit. Like, this is about bringing the true people to the limelight. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And that's what Uncaged You is about.
Yeah, I look at some of these videos, these channels, and it's like, okay, you got a girl skipping rope, and she's got 1 million followers, and I'm thinking, what? And here we're marketers giving people,
Value, right?
advice on how to make money, and you got the skip roping girl. I'm already making.
But that's entertainment content.
Hmm.
That's and I get that. I'm the person that watches. There's this person on YouTube, and I swear to God, I'm like, oh my God, I wasted an hour of my time watching that. She's called the Girl Dog or something, and she basically is a dog groomer. And I'll watch her for like an hour, like grooming this husky, you know, and good for her, right? But I just find it fascinating. That's great content. Like I'll watch that over watching some stupid show on HBO or something like that. You know what I mean? But I think that that's where we have to find ourselves as marketers is we have to allow ourselves to be disliked.
Well, and also we need to stop being concerned about the negative reviews.
Yeah.
You guys can get 1,000 positive reviews, and you're like, yeah, and you get one negative review, and you want to jump off a bridge. Come on now.
You gotta have some thick
Yeah.
skin, man. I mean, you gotta have some thick skin. And I go back to Charlie Kirk for a second. I mean, the man was murdered for his perspective. It's an extreme case, and I hope that never happens to anyone else on the planet. Let me be clear. But man, he stood in that. He
Hmm.
stood in the willingness. I haven't been willing to do that. I mean, he's been standing in his perspective, like it or not. You, admirable. Holy crap. I haven't been willing to do that. If I even have that half of that courage, imagine what my life would be if I had half the courage of him to be able to stand in my perspective and my view and how I want to help women be able to heal themselves, step into their power, step into their enlightenment, step into their wealth, their health, and everything else. And if I just had that half of that quarter of his courage to be able to stand in that, because the moment I say that, by the way, let me tell you what happens in my little brain. The moment I even just said that to you, Rob, I want to apologize to you because I hear a voice. She's like right here, and it's a programmed voice. It's like the programmed voice. It's the matrix, I call it. And it's a ton of marketing dudes telling me, quote, women aren't leaders, women can't sell shit, and women aren't good at target market. I can hear them. I can point to them. I remember the stages. And that's the programming I have to tell them to shut up because I know who I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve people, conscious creators, people who are interested in soulpreneurship, not just marketing, but soulpreneurship and bringing their gifts online and serving the world.
Right. And they also have to understand the long game because this is not something that instantaneously is going to make you money. For me, it's been 30 years. Now people are starting to read my books and they're seeing my content and they're like, "Wow, did you just start?" No, I've been doing this probably longer than you've been alive. Come
You know
on.
what's interesting? Like, you know how TikTok can, like, if you connect Facebook, it'll bring your people up, like,
Hmm.
and I've never looked at it recently. I looked at it last night for some reason. It was like, you may know this person, I guess, because we're friends on Facebook. And some of these people that are being pulled up, names I've known for years. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, oh, so I start clicking on some of them. And it's basically saying, do you want to follow them? Because you kind of know them on Facebook. And so some of these people name big names from our world, and I'm clicking on them, their profile before I just follow them. Click on their profile, and I mean, some of these people that I used to really admire, you know what I mean, on stages, they have like zero content.
Right. Yeah.
They have like 200 followers,
Hmm.
300. I'm like, oh wow,
Hmm.
no one knows who these people are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And or they've released their political voice and people are hating them now, and I've
Yeah,
I've seen it, and there's somebody on LinkedIn that used to be a former CEO of a major company, and he's on there trash talking people, and I'm like, dude, people still remember you as the CEO of this company, and now the company is feeling it because you're being an ass. You know, yeah,
yeah,
you can be an ass without being an ass, okay?
yeah. Says the asshole.
Says yes. That's right. It's just, I'm very sarcastic, like I said, and I've
In a loving way.
in a loving way, but once you're my client, I got your back. I'll be there if you're down. You call me 2 o'clock in the morning. I may not answer, but just I'm gonna protect you the best I can.
Right. Well, and
But
you do that with friends. You've
but
done that.
I do shield things, and I do try to, uh, you know, I try to be their friend.
Yeah.
But I will praise them up and down, and I will give them encouragement. But when we first meet, oh boy, I'm going to be the asshole because I don't need any more friends, honestly. It's
Right.
and I don't need somebody where I connect and 2 minutes later they're trying to pitch me.
Oh my god, that's happened so many times recently. Like, "Oh, let's get together," and then, like, halfway down the conversation, they're just pitching me. I'm like, "This is not how I thought this was gonna go, dude."
No, no, but I do get it. I do get the the people who are on social who only want a date. They see the sexy women and they just and I'm like, dude, you're a pig. Stop doing
Yeah.
that. You-
I just saw this interview. I didn't watch the whole thing. I ran across it, and I watched a little bit last night, and it was, Charlie Kirk actually, just because he's in my feed a lot right now, I'm sure you understand that.
Mhm.
I didn't know he did this. So there is a podcast called Whatever, and the whole show, it's a really interesting. I mean, they're making millions of dollars, but they basically have this round table to one guy, and they have this round table, and all the girls are porn stars or OnlyFans girls, and they just basically interview them. So they threw Charlie in this thing. So it's the producer guy, and then Charlie, and then all these chicks. And I watched a little bit of it, and these most of these girls are not just OnlyFans girls; they're porn stars, right? Yeah. So I saw some, like I watched some of that. I saw a clip, but then I wanted to go see a little bit. First of all, it was a 7 hour interview, which is crazy. He sat in that chair for 7 hours, which is like nuts. But I saw a few exchanges he had with some of the ladies, and he was extremely loving. Like he was
Mm.
so loving. But he said some things to this one girl who is a porn star, and she has sex with all these men, and then she goes home to her boyfriend. And he said, have you do you talk to your father? And she's like, no, I don't talk to my father. My father's an asshole. He's like, okay, got it. And then he was just really loving with her. He was like, I just really hope that you find what you're looking for and love. It's how he said it was very loving. And at the very end, when he was being very generous, like, thank you for your time, ladies. Thank you for letting me be here. We appreciate it. This one woman was like, you're very respectful. We really appreciate it. You've been very respectful for us and to us, and you've been very loving to us. We appreciate it. He's like, yeah, well, of course. Why would I judge you? You know? And like that exchange alone, the fact that he even put himself there, whoever got the invitation or however it worked out, was like really cool to me, because I feel like this next round of me coming out finally, because I, as you know, for one period of time, I had a national syndicated radio. My show was listened to millions of followers. I don't know if you knew that, but my numbers were really big. And then I kind of just disappeared around 2020, and I just like left it all, walked away, and I'm kind of coming back because it really wasn't serving my soul, So I feel like this next round for me, one, I'm going to allow myself to be opinionated. I'm going to allow myself to have a voice and allow myself to have a view on something. But I also want to position myself and put myself in situations of people that I don't agree with. Like, I want to be able to say, we don't agree, and that's cool. Let's have that conversation. Let's talk about it. Or be in a place where I can actually share my views, not just a what's your promotion of something. And so even though I spent almost 6 years in the radio world and podcasting world and learned that world and taught other people, and at one point I was on the radio, national syndicated, I'm going to do it differently this time. And this time it's way more about helping people come to the realization that they are more powerful than they think. They don't need a guru. They don't need really a mentor. They don't need to be paying a guru A, B, and C, and D, right? Thousands and thousands of dollars to be in the organization, to be able to feel like they belong to something. You know what I mean? I think that's really important. And then kind of goes back to my experience I had in 2021, where I spent $15,000 for a group coaching program. I got very involved in the group coaching program. I did the work. I did what we were being taught, which was virtual events. And then round year two happened. Like, I went through their program and they wanted another 15,000 to stay in the group. And I had met all these wonderful people and connected and all that. And so I was like, so I started down the road, but then I needed that money for ad spend and things like that. And so I pulled back. I was like, hey, this is not going to work. And not only was I removed from the program, they actually removed me from the program, removed me from their world, removed me from everyone else. And all the content I had bought for that first year, like the programs, they removed those. And
Mhm.
I thought, this is not okay. How people are now about programs, like, come here to learn X. No, it's be in our cult.
Mhm.
It is be in our cult. And if you leave the church, if you leave this church, we're going to oust you. And that's exactly what happened.
Mhm.
And I'm like not okay with that anymore. Like, that's not how coaching programs are supposed to be. You're supposed to come in, learn something, and move on. You know what I mean? Not, oh, you can't leave out of this cult. And I feel like that's what's happening right now, is that we've gone from this authority to like a flatness. We are now in community connection, collaboration. That's the values of the future.
Yeah. So how do people find you? Where do they go? Do you have I know you have a website.
Heather Havenwood, um, heatherhavenwood.com. Heather Havenwood everywhere on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. But someone stole my Substack. So if you go to Heather Havenwood on Substack, someone stole it. I'm trying to find that person.
Yeah,
I'm like, give me back my
I
name.
haven't been on Substack for a long time. I created the profile. I started posting. I'm like,
Well, I
nah.
wanted to catch my name, and I found out last night someone took it, and I'm like literally messaging them, like, give my name, that's not me,
Uh,
that's
I stay on Facebook and LinkedIn, and then post videos to YouTube and
not.
Tickety Talk. And I hate TikTok. I honestly
Yeah.
like that. It's not my style, but I know
I'm
you have
on
to be there.
X too, and I have my name, but I don't do a lot on there.
just I there's just too much
Hate.
hate everywhere. Threads especially. I and I don't know if it was designed that way, but it's just, you put something on there and it just the most bitchiest people are on threads. Why? I don't need that.
Oh, I don't think I've been put it.
And
I
Twitter
don't
to
even.
me is just pure chaos. Or
Yeah,
X
X.
now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. X is chaos. Every time I open the app, my energy just drops. It's like this low.
It's
It's
like,
like this low vibration
yeah.
crap.
X is the social media network that you really want to hate. I
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. But it's also I go. I
Curiosity factor, just you just want to jump in. You want to
Yeah.
know what Elon's doing.
What's Elon say today? What does Trump say today?
Yeah.
What's going on today?
Oh, you're on X. You must be MAGA. What the hell? It's like,
Oh yeah, Blue Sky or something is the new one. I'm not on
yeah,
that. I think I did go on there and get my name. Like I captured my name and then like nothing's on there.
yeah.
But
I'm
I didn't do it on Substack, and someone beat me to it. I'm a little annoyed by that. So, but everything else, I'm very much on TikTok. I'm very much on LinkedIn. I'm very much on my own domain and Facebook and Instagram. Those are my places. My people. But you will see me coming out more about um, more spiritual sovereignty, uncaging voice, uncaging your wealth, and I don't know if it's going to work. I honestly don't know. Um, I feel very connected to the work, and I feel connected to the message.
well, and here's what I want to leave everyone is that we as entrepreneurs sometimes we don't jump into something knowing that it's going to work. We do
Yeah,
it because we want to do it.
right.
My first business back in 1989 failed. Second business after waiting to jump back in, it was 6 years later, 1995. I thought it would fail after 2 years, 3 years, and that's when I started learning marketing, from Joe Polish and Dan Kennedy and all these greats. And that business lasted 19 years. And midway through that, I spun, all the marketing that I was learning and created Anspach Media, which next year will be 25 years old. And so, I didn't know that,
Yeah,
all those years ago that something would stick, but, you know, I hope that it would, but hope only goes so far. You have to take action every single day. You got to put the content out there and you got to tell people this is what I can do. This is how I can help you. And eventually you're going to get people that want to follow you.
I will say this one thing because it's something I've been struggling with because I went really down the rabbit hole of AI and learned a lot of AI, and I use AI. But I of course wanted to do what everyone else is doing, like create teach AI. But I have been energetically been like, no, AI is a tool.
That's all it is.
It's just a tool. That's like us going back in 1999 going, let's talk about HTML code. Like it's a tool of business.
Hmm.
It's you don't lead with the tool. And at least I'm not going to. So it feels very counterproductive when it feels like everyone around me is making all this money on teaching AI, and I'm over here going to be talking about I'm going to be using AI for repurposing and content, all kinds of stuff. But I'm not going to be talking about AI.
Hmm.
I'm going to be talking about the fact that now's the time to uncage your voice and have a message and actually be able to learn to whatever your gifts are to actually bring this to the forefront as light warriors. I think that's a really interesting conversation. So I just want to put that out there. You and I've been around long enough. The tools constantly change,
Hmm.
and I feel I got caught up. That's like on me. I got caught up for the last 18 months and I took my eye off the ball of what I really wanted to do. And I my business suffered
Hmm.
because I focused so much on being up to date with AI. And there was a moment about 6 months ago that I was like, you know what? AI is changing so fast that It's no longer about keeping up.
Right.
It's just about understanding what the tool is and learning what I need to do to use it in my business and what actually is my business now. And I think that's an important piece because my first business was in real estate investing, and then my second one was in dating. I never enjoyed the dating. I made a lot of money, but I didn't like it. I
Hmm.
hated that content. I hated talking to men about dating women because all I got was like, I don't want to date, I don't want to fuck up. Like I hated the market. I hated it. I did it because I made money and people thought it was interesting. But at the end of the day, I don't want to do something anymore. But I did it because I was feeling a need,
Yeah.
right? It is a hot market. And that's what AI, it's a hot market. And I'm great. God bless you. But I really want to tap into something that has longevity,
Hmm.
which is spirituality, connection to source, aliens, galactic, near-death experiences, like all these other things that I think that are more longevity. So at the age of 50, I feel like I'm starting over, starting a media company, Rob, and I'm literally looking at it 10 years from now. I'm looking at things so differently. I'm like, okay, in 10 years from now, I want to be in a position where I have the money to literally disappear for a year in Italy somewhere, and there's no changes. I don't have to be on the forefront of the business anymore. It's like Joe Polish did in 2020.
Yeah, he took a
He
sabbatical.
he took 100% sabbatical, disappeared. No one was allowed to talk to him. It was a test. It was a test for him. It was a test for his group, and he knew at some level that he may come back to nothing.
Hmm.
Now he didn't. They rose up in the ashes, right? They rose up into the void, and now he's got a bigger and most successful group. It's very powerful to watch it. I remember watching it, going, wonder what was going to happen.
Hmm.
He had to let him out of the picture. It's like, what's going to happen with the business? It may explode. It may just disappear. But he was willing to do it. And I think that's where I'm at. Like, I'm like, what am I going to create this time
Hmm.
that I can go off to Disney with you for a week and never ever touch the computer?
Well, and the funny thing is that every time I travel, and I was in southern France for 2 years, or two years, yeah, I was for 2 years, 2 weeks last year, and I wrote while I was there, I wrote my legacy book, right? And I had people contacting me, and they want to do business, and every time I go to Disney, my phone rings like crazy. I'm like, why should I even be in the office? I get more done, more business when I'm traveling, and so I think as entrepreneurs, we need to do something that
Yeah.
ignites our soul, not just in business, not just makes us money, but makes us feel invigorated somewhere that's
And
not.
I haven't had that. I haven't had that. I haven't had that in 2 decades. I really haven't. I've never done that. I've never come from a perspective of, am I gonna build something that's going to feed my soul?
Mhm.
I've always done like, well, what's gonna make money? And I don't wanna chase it anymore. I don't chase it, allow it to come through. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. I mean,
Well,
get a job, I guess. I don't know.
nobody wants to get a job.
I know, but I'm willing to make it work. You know what I mean? Like I'm willing because I
Well,
want to actually have a life that is more in purpose, the purpose driven life. It's an old adage, right? But I do want to have that this time.
so everyone, go to heatherhavenwood.com. Follow Heather everywhere.
Thank you.
Ask her questions, hire her, and have a better spiritual life. So I'll end with that, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.